what time you're watching this and where you're watching from. I like to greet you properly. So, good day, y'all. I just had to get on here as I'm enjoying my day. I hope that you're having a great day on purpose. And I wanted to talk about something because, parenting is so important. I'm not saying that I've arrived. I'm not saying that I'm perfect when it comes to this department, but we must start putting more effort into being better parents. Like, I don't know who this is for today, and this could be for me on the replay, but I was listening to some trending things that's going on in the world and what a lot of people are talking about and looking into, and not necessarily trending, but yeah, that's trending that's going on. And it's a lady who's talking about her child being, touched by someone that she was either married to or dating or something like that. But she's in the public eye. And it just made me want to have this conversation that if the Most High has trusted you with a creation and you've created a human being, you're supposed to be there for that child. I'm not saying that you're going to always get it right. I'm not saying that you're going to be perfect. God knows parenting is one of the most challenging and most complex things that you'll ever do. However, I do believe that when you get in your word and when you start to understand that God allowed you to create, another being, it's your job to protect that child. Sometimes it's going to be sacrifice. I'm a woman and I am a mom of a little girl, and I don't know what it's like to be a guy or none of that stuff. So I'm talking to my single moms right now. I'm not married, so I can't talk to the married moms right now. I feel that you're supposed to talk in season. Not saying that there won't be a day where I'll feel comfortable, but right now, this is to the single moms. Like, love your child enough to sacrifice sometimes. Love your child enough to be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, I want to do XYZ, but I know I don't trust that sitter. So don't take your child to that sitter. This one of them conversations where I feel like I'm about to shed tears because it's so real that we as moms can sometimes not understand that the Most High has left us with the responsibility of this child, regardless if the father is there or not. I'm one where, yes, I'm just getting on social media. However, I've been in so many different situations in my life where I had to sacrifice for my child. And when I hear stories that are trending right now about how a woman, I consider it kind of selfish. However, everybody's put in different shoes, and you never know what prompted them to do what they did. But when people don't sacrifice for their children becomes the sacrifice. And we can't do that. We have to stop being so selfish and take care of our children. Like, we really do. If you're in here and you're enjoying the conversation, please comment, let me know, and I can make you a moderator to get rid of the distractions, because the conversation that I'm having right now, it's so serious. It's so real. People be so quick to complain about a child that the Most High has given them, and they selfishly don't spend time with that child, and that child ends up being the sacrifice, and it's not cool. You got to do better than that, mom. I know that you're tired. I know that you're exhausted, but your big sis, your friend that's been here, that's been there. I'm gonna be 40 this year, y'all, and I've been a single mom since I was 31. And one thing people never have, my bad. one thing that, let me make you a, hold on, let me see. Yeah, give me just a second. I appreciate that. Uh, let's see. Sorry, I'm reading. Because I'm about to finish this conversation because it's heavy on my heart. Agent B6, thank you. And can you get rid of the conversations that don't belong in here? Um, but yeah, thank you. So, and anybody else that chooses to join that agrees that this conversation needs to, go forth, please let me know so then I can make you a moderator because all the distraction is irritating. So, as a mom, it is your responsibility to love that child. I understand that you might be frustrated that you're in a situation to where you're doing it by yourself, but don't blame that child for that because you enjoyed the time when you were making that child. So it's time to put on your big girl pants and sacrifice and stop allowing the children to be sacrificed because you can't just sit still for a little bit. If God gives you that, and the thing is, I know the story that's been trending with the mom that regrets having her girls around the guy or whatever. The thing with that is, the Most High showed her that that was going to happen. It's like something as a parent, you get that inkling to where you're like, you know what? This is not right. This is something is wrong here. You get that inkling, sis, and you can't ignore that even if it don't make sense at that moment. There were times in my life where I had certain people in my world and the Most High showed me who they were, and I cried and I mourned prior to letting that situation go, and then to come to find out they did that very thing to somebody else. And that's why you can't ignore that small voice. And then when the Most High tells you you need to relax and it's time for you to just focus on parenting, that's your job. He's not going to leave you or forsake you if he's telling you to focus on your children or your child, depending on if you have multiples or one. This is for single moms today. I can only speak from experience. And one thing about it, I don't take pride in it because I allow the Most High to get all the credit. Because if it wasn't for His word, I wouldn't know how to parent. But I take parenting very serious because I was once told that I couldn't have children. I used to suffer with a lot of insecurity because I couldn't have kids. They always told me, "Oh, you can't have children. You're gonna have to go through this and go through that." And when I was blessed with a child, I was also, I also experienced her being born at 1 pound. So it was like, okay, yeah, you got this child, but it's a lot going on. And I shared all of that to share that I take parenting serious. And my child, I feel that she's healthy. No, she's not perfect. Parenting is a journey. We still getting through all the different levels. But through my journey in life, I've had to sacrifice for my child, and I'm glad that I did because she didn't have to experience the pain of me sacrificing her because I want for selfish gain. Like, you can't be selfish and be a parent. You got to put that child first. It's time to focus on making sure that that child turns into a responsible adult, because it's your responsibility to teach them. Like, we laugh at some of the things that children do. However, they're only copying us. Like, your girl, I'm on a roll today. I was watching something else on social media where they were talking about these it was basically like church kids. I was a church kid. If you've ever gone to church, like, churches was one of the funniest places ever. At least for me, I am a Sagittarius, so I laugh at awkward times. And in church, you don't know what is going to happen. You don't know who going to act out. You don't know when it's going to be a funny time. So somebody created channel. What is it? Yeah, they created a channel on Facebook, and I was watching it, and it's so true. But the thing is, it's funny watching those children do the things that they were doing in church, and I can laugh and think about the things I used to do as a child and having to hold my breath. My dad, he always provoked my sister and I to laugh, but we weren't allowed to laugh. So it was funny. We'd be like, everything is funny. The person that can't sing is up there singing, and it just would be out of control. When you grew up as a child in the church, you experience things that you can only explain to other kids that grew up in church. But anyway, I said all of that to say it's funny now when we watch it and think about it, but we were watching what our folks did. And that's the reality of you being a parent, sis. Your daughter, your sons, they watching what you do. They watch how you move. They watch the people you bring in your life, because now where I'm in a position where I'm with my mom and my daughter, I'm seeing that, yeah, that's what I saw. So I'm a reflection of her. Like, and it's so important that we take time out. That's what this conversation is for. To be a good parent. Like, thank the Most High for the child that He's giving you. Stop complaining about the things that that child may be doing, and start identifying what does that child need right now. That is your responsibility. Just like ain't nobody coming to save you, ain't nobody going coming to save your lineage if you don't put no work in. Make sure that your child is a better version of yourself. Break these generational curses now. It's up to you. Break them curses. Them curses, what are them curses? Them curses is where, instead of elevating the next generation to be amazing, you try to make that generation be less than and not celebrate them. Your generation is supposed to be greater than you, the one after you. Like, that's still a part of your bloodline. Stop being so extra and selfish that you don't love the next generation enough to sacrifice for them. Like, it's so real. And I just wanted to get on here to encourage y'all today to be proud of what you've done thus far as a parent. And if you know you can do better today, sis. Spend some time with your children. Start to think about what they may need. Start to think about what you needed at their age and be that to them so that they can be greater than. No less than over here. We greater than over here. We winning. All right. So I had to just share that because every time, excuse me, every time I hear these stories where children are being bothered and have been put in awkward situations, it just rips me apart because it's the parents' responsibility to protect them. It's the parents' responsibility. No, you can't always be there, and no, you can't always, wear the shoe for your child in the story. But there's some things that you can do as a parent to make sure that you did all you could do. And a part of that is not being selfish. I'm so upset, y'all. I don't have no lotion out here, nor do I have any chapstick. But I wanted to get on here and have this conversation because this was the time that I had to do it. I'm about to get off of here, but I really pray that after this conversation, if you know somebody that needs to make sure that they not getting caught up in different distractions and sacrificing their children for just a good night, share this with them. And if you were the one to receive this after share, they're not trying to tell you what to do, sis. They just love you enough to know that you will get through this without having to sacrifice your children. Understand that if the Most High allowed you to be in the situation that you're in, He knew you could handle it. Stop blaming other people. You were the one that had the child. Like, I don't know who this is for today, but this is for you, sis. I'm going to give you a hug. You need a hug. You're tired. You're probably frustrated. Your child's probably out of control. But when you have those moments, still thank the Most High for him. still thank the Most High for her. Like for me, I know sometimes my child can drive me nuts, especially when I'm in the process of doing a different project or if I'm going here or going there. It's like, ugh, my child's being extra. But then I slow down and I stop and I'm like, but Father, I remember when she was 1 pound and you got us through that time. You got us through that time. So now that you got us through that time, I'm going to remember that and we're going to get through this with her going through her next level in life. And you sometimes, mom, have to do that. It's not your child's fault. Never blame them. You created this child. So now it's time for you to put your big girl pants on and protect this child. Like sometimes you got to say no. Like there's some things that I be wanting to do and for the last 8 years, I had to say no. And I don't regret it. I thank God. Why? Because I would regret my child being sacrificed all for me to be able to step outside. Nah. Like that ain't it. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Again, I hope that you guys have an amazing day. Don't be gossiping. And if you fell into the shoes of, oh my gosh, that's me, I need to do better, don't beat yourself up, sis. Just do better. Love your child. Look at your children. Shed a tear. Think of that moment when you was had them in your belly. Think of all that and be great on purpose. It's nothing more doper than being a dope parent. Like, don't be ashamed of that. And kudos to my moms that actually do sacrifice. Don't nobody ever see that part of what you do. But it take a lot to raise little people. I've been doing it for 8 years and still feel like, oh my goodness, there's more to this. Every time I talk to parents, I know people be looking at me like, what is wrong with her? But I be like, man, does it get better? Like, because parenting is a lot, but that child needs you. And this is to my single moms. Like, you got this, sis. Don't let, and then this is another thing to my single moms. If you're getting all the advice from non-single moms, I don't know what to tell you. Like, start getting it from good moms that are single. Like, and I'm not saying that non-single moms can't help, but it's a different type of experience when you are sacrificing for your child as a single mom. It's like double because you don't have that extra support. But I just wanted to encourage you guys to be great. Put your children first. Don't blame them for drama that happens in your life. Like, make sure that you make them a priority because that's how your legacy lives on. It's no point in you working that hard. Like, it's no point in you working that hard and then you didn't put in the work in your children and then you have no legacy to leave it for. That's why it's so important. And it's not to do it for selfish gain because you should want to see your child be amazing. It amazes me how there's so many generational curses, especially within my community, where the parent be afraid for the child to be great when the child's supposed to be great. Like, make it make sense. And it's the same with the elders to the young. Here it is, you have the young looking up to the elders, but then the elders be so worried that the young gonna take their place, they get upset instead of just allowing the flow of life to happen. This happened in the word. That's why I love the word. With Saul and David, when David was about to be next after he fought Goliath, Saul was big mad, and David used to look up to Saul. But then Saul wanted to get David because he was like, oh, David got next. He got me looking ill, when they should have just worked together and stayed in their rightful place. But I digress. I just wanted to say, if you are, again, a great parent, keep being great. But if you slipping and you feeling exhausted and you feel like, ugh, is it worth it? And when is it? It's going to get better. It's going to get better. And your child is going to thank you later for loving them enough to make sure they were straight. That's one thing my mom, she made sure we were straight. Like, we ain't experienced none of that crazy stuff. I call it crazy because it's crazy. And I was so thankful that I didn't have to experience that. So, but I also grew up in a two-parent household. But for me, I'm a single mom, so I take that very serious. No, I can't go, y'all. I ain't got the right sitter. My mom's not available. If mommy's not available, then I don't have a sitter. Like, that's what y'all got to start doing and be okay with it. Take that time that you would go step out with your folks, with your child. Like, enjoy your children. They don't stay young long. Like, my little one is 8 already, and I'm like, dang, she was just a toddler. But when she was a toddler, I was so busy trying to be busy, I didn't spend that time with her like I should have. I'm going to be transparent on here. Why? Because we went in together. And I thank God that I continue to learn the importance of sacrificing for your children so they don't be the sacrifice. It's real. Like, when I look at the story of David, too. No, is it David or Daniel? No, it's David. When David and Bathsheba had cut up the first child they couldn't have because that child was a sacrifice for what they did to Zariah. And that was Bathsheba's husband. And we can't do that. Like, stop sacrificing your child off so you can have a good night. Here it is, you outside and your child is being tortured by mean people. Here it is, you outside and your child is in an uncomfortable position. Don't do that to your child. Like, when my support system is not available, I can't go. Like, hands down. And it's going to be that way until my child is in an age of where she's considered grown. And if she's there, because I believe that at 12, you consider, old enough to know what to do. And I know a lot of people don't believe in that, but I believe in the laws of the Bible. And that's why I believe in that age or around that age bracket, she'll be good. But until then, nah, I can't go. And even then, she gonna be there or will only be a little bit away. Like, you got to make sure that you take your legacy serious, and that's your children. So, again, I'm done. It's been a long time. I've been on here way longer than I expected. But I hope, again, you make today a great day. Smile at somebody. Pray for the person in front of you or behind you. You never know. Your prayer may change and save their life. No complaining, sis. I get it. This conversation might have been awkward. You now looking at me like who she thinks she is. I'm here to love you. I'm here to encourage you. And I'm going to tell you something that somebody in your circle been trying to tell you, but you ain't hearing them. That's who this message is for. Sometimes them hard conversations got to come from somebody you don't know. Because I know I can't hear sometimes when people be talking to me. Because if they not a reflection of what they talking about, I'm like, your conversation's not valid. So if you're like me, that's why a life coach was everything to me. Because I heard them. But so if you're hearing me, love your children. Give them a hug today. Say, I love you. Tell them they're beautiful, especially if you are a girl mom. Tell her she's beautiful. Say, oh, I love your hair today. Be there for your children. And if you're a mom and you have a son, I couldn't get it out, a boy mom, I don't know what to really tell you. I mean, of course, tell him he's handsome, or I don't know, because I'm not in those shoes. But, love them. Give them a hug. They may be like, ew, what are you doing? But they want it. Like, they do. So, yeah. Until next time, be amazing. Have a great day. And if nobody else tells you today that they love you, I love you because I know you're amazing. And keep being great. Okay? I need some chapstick, y'all. Like, where are my people that make some shea butter? I want some shea butter and chapstick. Like, yeah. But anyway, Good day. I'm still on here. Good day, y'all.